Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever place you are watching, you are tuned on to the Live Signatures Radio. I hope everything is okay with you in the year 2023 and you're drawing closer to your dreams and you're locked into your vision, locked into your purpose even as the day progresses. This podcast is a daily podcast and we are always talking about those three topics of purpose, productivity, and resilience. And the episodes that are following are always concerning that, plus their cousins, as in everything else related to those three topics. In the series that we are doing, we are talking about making seconds count, making the moments count, and letting legacy to take care of itself. That at the end of the day, all of us will have a legacy. People will talk about us when we are not there. And what are they going to say? Instead of getting immersed in thinking what people are going to say, let us not waste that time and make the seconds that we have today to count. Because at the end of the day, when people are talking about us and we're gone, we're not there. There's nothing we can do about it. So let us learn one more thing today. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures Podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures Podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
So if we're to do a recap of what we've been talking about in these episodes, talking about legacy is something that maybe you might not have full control over it. Even if you think that you have control over it, at the end of the day, when people are talking about your legacy, you ain't there. You are not there. You might not even understand what it is they're saying. But the thing is that instead of being immersed in and focus on what people will say, how about you just focus on what your vision in life is, focus on what your purpose is, and do it. And don't waste time today. How about you focus on being productive today and doing the best that you can be able to do today, deploy the best that you can be able to deploy today. Therefore, if you do that, the legacy, I do believe, will start taking care of itself. See, it is important for us to know these things because 200 years from today, you and I are not going to be there. But chances are that probably what we have done, chances are that they will be remembered. We talk about Michelangelo, we talk about Da Vinci, we talk about Thomas Newton. Is it Thomas Newton? We talk about Edison. We talk about all these big-time inventors. We talk about Napoleon. We talk about Shakespeare, William Shakespeare. We talk about Paul Pove. We talk about these big names. And some of them, by the way, if you mention them, they are more than 100 years, 200 years down the line. What's the difference? Why are we talking about such like people? Talk about Nietzsche. Why do we talk about such like philosophers? Talk about Socrates. 200 years, 300 years, 1,000 years. Jesus Christ, 2,000 years. Muhammad, less than 2,000 years. Why are we talking about these people? We're talking about them because they did something. That's what legacy is all about. So it is up to us to know how to live our lives today. If we're going to live by the second, that's what we talked about yesterday. If we're going to live by the minute, if we're going to live by the day or the week, or if we're going to live by the month, And the truth is that most people live their lives with absolutely no knowledge that the clock is ticking. Every single second is ticking. It's going. It's going. It's going and it's going. So we need to come to that level in our lives if we are going to have any semblance of legacy. One of the things that we need to have in our lives, and I'm going to discuss that today, is urgency. I know in some episodes in this series, in this podcast, I've talked about urgency. Actually, I've had a whole series talking about urgency. Urgency in life is one of those greatest things that we can have. And to be urgent doesn't mean that you are missing very many things. Do you know someone can be very urgent, but they are relaxed and they are resting? Why? Because they have applied themselves during the week and therefore they do need to rest. Urgency can also mean that you are actually running short of time and you are cognizant of the fact that time is limited. There is so much to do and so limited time. And therefore, what are you doing? You are doing the best that you can be able to do because you know you are not immortal. You know that you will at one point in time die. And even before you die, you know that you're not going to be operating at optimal levels all your life. So what do you do with the urgency that you have today? You expend the most energy that you can. When you go to the gym, you pour your heart out. When you go to the church, you pour your heart out. I mean, you live your life with urgency. Living your life with urgency can also mean just pouring out everything, leaving nothing to chance. Michael W. Smith actually used to be one of the tunes that I used to do on the introduction of this episode. This is your moment. This is your time. Live every moment, leaving nothing to chance. See, that's urgency. Living every moment, leaving nothing to chance. It's urgency. Urgency is a thing of great importance in life. It doesn't necessarily imply that we are running short of time and that we need to redeem it. For the sake of productivity, urgency simply means that each second is well accounted for. It counts. It matters. In other words, you could be playing with your children but still exercising urgency. You could be resting. You could be having a vacation but still exercising urgency. You could be sleeping. You could even be watching a movie but you're still in the mode of exercising urgency. You're putting everything in the minute, everything in the second. You could even be browsing social media pages but still exercising urgency. Why? Because you have complete intentionality and you have complete control of the seconds that you are living at this moment in time. You are completely in control of your moments, that you are doing whatever activities that you are engaged in. That's what urgency is all about. You are in control. You have planned those moments. See, I wonder if we do that in our lives. Because the person who is doing this, the person who is in control, complete urgency of what they're doing in life, that's the person that is going to be a person of legacy. There is a graphic, there is a company that I love so much. I think it's called Visual Capitalist, or something like that. Visual Capitalist. They sometimes churn out very interesting graphics. And one of those graphics that I saw was a graphic of the who is who in life, as in the guys who have done wonderful stuff in this life, and how they spent their moments, how they spent their time. They divided these guys into the things that they used to do in terms of sleeping, in terms of working, in terms of time of productivity and so on and so forth. Visual capitalist. And I saw very interesting statistics in there, and I'm just gonna share with you some of those things. These movers and shakers, the names include people like John Milton, Harumi Murakami, Voltaire, Benjamin Franklin, Immanuel Kant, Kurt Vonnegut, Maya Angelou, and big time names like Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, Sigmund Freud, Vladimir Nabokov, Thomas Mann, Richard Strauss, Franz Kafka, and so on. They basically looked at the daily routines of famous creative people. In these daily routines, there is sleep, there is creative work, there is day job or administration, there is food and leisure, there is exercise, and then there is other. That should paint the picture of what I'm saying. That they basically did life, including all these things. They did life. When you talk about someone who is a name, a showstopper, someone who is a big time name, someone who is a legend, someone who has a legacy, for the most part we think that these guys did nothing else but just work. We think that Martin Luther King Jr. never had fun. Right? We think that Benjamin Franklin never had fun. But this graphic here, it tells us exactly how these people spend their time. There is time for sleeping. Actually, if you look at each and every one of them, there's considerable amount of time for sleeping. Averagely, they slept, let me see here. Averagely, they slept 8 hours, 7 hours, each of them. And then there is time for creative work, same amount of time, maybe 8 or 7. There is time for food and leisure, which is scattered all over the place. Each and every single one of these guys had a lot of this. The only person who has an interesting graphic is Honor de Balzac. Lord have mercy, I don't know who that is. Very limited time, actually time for food and leisure was very limited for his life. But he had sleep. He had 3 sessions of sleep in a day. And then the other time he spent on creative work. 3 things: creative work, sleep, and food and leisure. Very interesting personality. The point I'm raising, ladies and gentlemen, here is that at the end of the day, when we are doing life, we make the seconds to count. When we are doing life, we immerse ourselves into it with urgency. Whether we are eating, there is urgency. I think I need that in my life myself. I'm just preaching, but I need to get converted myself. I need that. When I'm talking to you, I am talking to you with urgency. I am immersed in the moment. When I'm eating, my phone is not on. I am eating. I'm immersed in the moment. I was interviewing someone in this episode, and they told me that the body responds when you're eating and you're on the phone. The body just knows I'm not being taken care of. Therefore, it doesn't take this eating as an interesting thing or as a valuable thing. Urgency is what we need. If we can put urgency in every moment, in everything, in every activity, in every event, in every process that we're involved in, chances are that we're going to end up living a great life of legacy at the end of the day. Tomorrow we're going to look at something else, but until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.